Underrated darkness, yours truly. The underrated one. The number one grinder. The best kept secret in YouTube.
Good afternoon. Welcome to my channel, The Underrated Darkness. Yours truly, the number one grinder, one of the best kept secrets on social media. We got been a while. We did boxing. I know it's been a while. Hopefully, I'm easing back into being a regular. That's what hopefully, but that's what we pushing for, right? This is the underrated boxing talk number 92. And hopefully we see brother DeFreeze. We gonna talk about boxing and the phase of it and stuff. So I hope that hope y'all can come and join. Very very much appreciate. Hope you go and join. So DeFreeze, you out there? Check the link. It's in your email. If you can hear me, yeah. So let me start. Hold on for 1 second more. That's not it. Hold on, family. So sometimes the email don't go through, but well, welcome. Again, this is the underrated Boston Talk number 92, and we get these announcements out the way. Welcome to my channel, the Underrated Darkness. Yours truly, Thank you to my Underrated One family. Thank y'all so much for supporting me throughout the years. I very much appreciate it. Thank you. It wasn't for y'all, I would not still be here. Shout out to the Miss. Um, Shout out to the LDBC family. Shout out to y'all, the brothers and sisters out there. Thanks for your consistent support throughout the years. Thank y'all so much. LDBC all day. That stands for Lions Den Boxing Community, also basketball community. We not just talk about sports, but we out there improving our communities. So put some respect on that. Hashtag TWT family. Shout out to y'all. Keep up the fine work. They not just talk about sports and other. They prove they out there in the community. So that's that. Now we got the one and only brother DeFree, boxing
What's
extraordinaire.
good? What's good? What's good?
What's good with you?
Ain't nothing. Over here finishing up a little bit of work.
Okay. You see, he got a nice studio and stuff, y'all. Hope I get there one day. Has to, like him. You leave blowing it. I just messing with you. Before we talk the boxing, I know people keep on talking about the get together that Clarence and had thrown and everything. People still be talking about it, and I want y'all to know. Go to Clarence IG, go to my man IG right there, and go to mine's and check out other stuff. It's classics, and then people still talking about it. So that is good. So we're gonna leave it right then and there. Let's get this is the Underrated Boxing Talk number 92. We finally got my brother DeFree. Now, before I get to him, I will do a chop up with him soon.
Yeah.
I will do a chop up with him soon. So he will be back here. So that's what I'm saying. Gonna let so share that out. I hope people share this out now. Share this out. So but I will do a chop up with him soon. He will let me know what's a good time. Then we're gonna do it then. So, but we're gonna talk about boxing and the face of it. Wherever you want to talk about boxing, it comes and goes. Now, anybody that listening that wants to get on, you let me know. If I know you legit, I put my email. I'll give you my email. You shoot me an email, and I squeeze you in case. But let's pick it up. We was talking about boxing like a few days ago, and the casual fighter. Tell people what the difference of the casual fan and the hardcore boxing fan.
You said what's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference? Tell the people
Um,
what's the difference.
the difference between a casual and a diehard. The casuals, they only, for the most part, they only know the big name fighters. They don't know about the low level fighters that hasn't made it to big TV yet. Like a lot of casuals won't know who Adula Mason is. They won't
Mm-hmm.
know who Emilion Vargas is. They won't know who Tiger Johnson is. They won't know Andy Cruz. They won't know these guys that's just coming out of the amateurs and becoming a pro. They won't know those fighters. A lot of times casuals also don't know the background story of a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
fights, of why these fights are so big, and why it's such a big fuss about these fights. They won't know the background story about a lot of these fights. So they just know the commercial of the fight. So that's the main difference between a diehard boxing fan and a casual boxing fan. Casuals, they not watching every single fight. They just gonna watch the big fight that people talk about.
Okay, cool. Now, tell us before we continue. Tell us which fighters we need to watch out for. That is under the under the radar that we should pay attention to? I know you told me, but Story B man, salute to you.
What's going on, Stormy B man? Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of those guys that I named, Dula Mason, Milian Vargas, Andy Cruz, David Morrell, um, a lot of those guys are the ones that you want to look out for because those are the fighters that's next up on deck. You got the Tiger Johnson. They the next generation of the fighters. Once these fighters of this generation is over and done with, is going to be the other guys that's gonna hold down the sport.
Mm-hmm.
So and a lot of them, they they're decent fighters now. They haven't been tested yet because they
Mm-hmm.
still prospects. They still growing in the sport. Now some of them had some tough fights, but they haven't been tested far as the next level of boxing. They still getting their feet wet. But those are the guys that you might want to look out for. Because they look like they ready for the next level. Abdullah Mason, he definitely one of the guys that I've been on ever since I seen him fight the first
Mm-hmm.
time. I've been real high on Abdullah Mason. He's definitely one of those guys I believe is going to be a champion in the future. Um, Tiger Johnson, he still has some holes in his games, but I think he's going to be a good fighter as well. Um, Milian Vargas, he still has some holes in his game, but he's definitely going to be a good fighter too. He's uh, Fernando Vargas' son. It's three of them that actually fight, but Milian Vargas, he's the best one to me out of all of them. The other two brothers, they're good too. I just think Emiliano Emiliano Vargas is the better one out of all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are some most of the guys that you might want to look out for that doesn't they don't get uh a lot of news put to them because they prospects. They now Abdullah Mason is starting to make some noise now because everybody is starting to catch on to who Abdullah Mason is. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people starting to talk about him. Um, what's going on with this joint? This joint's still taking forever. All right. Well, yeah, those are some of the fighters that you might want to look out for coming up in the future.
Mm-hmm. Well, I bet you on the fight you just told me about on the fight before that. I checked them out. I like them. I like Mason. I like them.
Yeah.
I think that see the problem that I had before we started getting, me and DeFree, we talk, even Story B man, we talk, and the problems that I have, and shout out to Story B man, I want you to go check out his channel. To do great work on it, do great work, and but also brother G5. I think Josh Sanders, he said he don't have a channel, he just go there, but go to those channels, check out great channels. But the problem that I have that really people that I know people ask me, say, why you don't do boxing talk? Because they talk about the same, like Story Beam, they talk about the same thing. They don't want to branch out. They don't want to talk. See, I noticed that the big name fighters, I get it. But they very subtly, they don't talk about the undercards, the
Hmm.
future champions. And that's what we're gonna talk about the big fighters. When I slowly bring this back, we're gonna talk about the big fighters, yeah, the big name brand fighters, yeah. But we're gonna talk about the undercards. And I noticed that only a few that to do that, like Story B man does it, and I know brother G5 doing it, even you. But there ain't that many really do that. But I'm gonna do it. I've been doing it for a bit anyway, but we're gonna do that. And so the undercards is very important, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, as boxing content creators, and this is pretty much where a lot of the casuals their news from. They get it from YouTube more so because ESPN don't really talk about boxing. They talk about the 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 main topic, the main card. They talk about the main event. They don't really talk about the undercards and the upcoming fighters and stuff like that. Most of the time, you're going to get your news from YouTube content creators. So if you're a boxing content creator, in order way to build up the sport, you gotta talk about those fighters that don't get the airplay that all of the top fighters get, because that's
Mhm.
the only way you're gonna be able to keep people interested in the sport and keep people focused on other fighters is by giving them the information about these fighters that they
Mhm.
don't see on an everyday basis.
No.
I mean, like I said, unless you're a diehard boxing fan, you're not gonna know who Tiger Johnson is. They might know him by face if they see him. Oh, I saw him fight on such and such card. Yeah, but you
Mhm.
won't know exactly who he is unless you're a diehard boxer fan and you've been following him for a while, or you from his area and you know who he is. But for the most part, most people ain't gonna know who he is unless they seen him. They might have saw him fight a couple of times. So you got, as a boxing content creator, you gotta be able to give the fans that information that they don't get on a regular basis that ESPN is not going to talk about, and the old media not going to talk about. They're not going to talk about these young upcoming fighters unless it's somebody that they trying to push, like Keyshawn Johnson. They'll talk about Keyshawn Johnson because Top Rank is trying to push Keyshawn Johnson. So you'll hear people talk about Keyshawn Johnson, but Keyshawn Johnson is a prospect as well. He's coming into to contendership. He's coming to become a contender, but Keyshawn Johnson, he only got what 11 fights. He's still a
Mhm.
prospect for the most part. Anyway, they just pushing him because he was a silver medalist in the Olympics.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Story be my. I be saying like you and brother G5. They don't support it, and you even you brother DeFree. They don't want to engage in those conversations. They don't in boxing. They don't. They don't want to be. They talk about the in like the story being talk the in and outs and stuff, and then, the politics goes with it. And what fight need on show, and that's why like I see this. It was just I forgot to tell you when I was in New York. I was watching. I was checking out my emails. So it was like it was this Argentina. He's from every time I'm trying to pronounce his name, it's like so. But he's from Argentina and he fighting junior middleweight and he's 13-0 with 9 knockouts. And
Hmm.
this guy, I'm saying he got holes. Don't get me wrong, but he go to the body. He's not splash. He's not flashy, but he's fundamentally sound. Now I think the only thing he got to move his head and but he can hit with either hand. He know how to go to the body. He know how to set you up. He know how to cut the corners. And I said, this guy, he good. He go. But like you said, they don't want to talk about it. They don't broadcast some fights like
Yeah.
he good.
Yep. That's how it is. I mean, they're not going to give them the airplay unless the promotional company is pushing them and they putting their name out to get that airplay. If they not pushing them, they're not gonna get the airplay far as being on the news at ESPN or on these
Mhm.
other big platforms. They're not gonna get it like the Tank Davises, the Shakors, the Devin Haney. They're not gonna get the airplay like those guys are.
It's sad. They even they don't even want to talk about the fighters in the past that paved the way.
Yeah. That's
They
why
don't even
that's
want
why I
to.
like what Clarence do on Thursday when we have Throwback Thursday and we talk about old fighters that's retired and no longer fighting anymore. Because a lot of those guys, it made it popular for these young guys to fight, because
Mhm.
without having those guys from the past, you wouldn't have the guys that you got now, because a lot of these young guys look up to those older fighters.
Like I know when I was doing boxing, that's why I talk about the old fight. I'm talking about fights like decades ago, man. I used to gotta go deep, and and like it's a lot. Like we I can't even I can't even start off. I mean, like
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot that that fight that fan don't Willie Pett.
Mm-hmm.
That's another fight. He fought over 200 some fights.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
don't get credit to Sadler. Remember Sadler? This man had 100. Let me tell you something. He had I think over 140. 140 fights, but in 9 years he had 103 knockouts.
Nice. Yeah.
Y'all talk, but y'all don't talk. I ain't talking about the ones in the chat, but I'm talking about y'all don't talk about fights like that.
Right. How did she do? Yeah, they don't talk about the old fighter. They only want to talk about what's going on in the sport of boxing now. Like I have a guy that I do a show with, and he like, man, I don't want to be talking about these old fighters. I was like, but you got to talk about the old fighters, because if it wasn't for the old fighters, it wouldn't be no new fighters. If it wasn't for the old fighters.
Yeah, exactly. They're the one that paid. Like I said, they paid away. So why you don't want to talk about them? And then even they don't want. I tossed it. What do you want? What about Carlos Monsoon?
Yeah.
One of the great middleweights ever.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't talk about that. Let's talk about why you don't talk about it? What are you doing? Like Forster, one of the great light heavyweights ever. He can never be the heavyweight, but he's great. One of the wicked left hooks you see.
Yeah.
He had a right hand, but yeah, one of the and
Yeah. I mean, like I said, a lot of these young guys, it's just like it's just like what it is. They're young guys, so they don't know about the 70s, the 80s, and the early 90s. They only know about what people talk about on a regular basis, and most people talk about the same selective fighters like Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard and Hagler, but you had the Aaron Pryors, you had the Sweet Pea Whitaker, you had the Emmanuel Augustus, you had
Salvador Sanchez.
Salvador Sanchez. Yeah, you had those type of fighters.
Yeah,
Salvador Sanchez was a hell of a fighter, but he
yes,
only fought for 5 years because he passed away early.
passed
So
away early. Yep.
So a lot of people don't know about him, but if you look at his resume and you go back and watch his fight, he was a hell of a fighter.
Yes, he
Some
was.
people
Yeah,
say he was on the way to being the best Mexican fighter of all time.
all time. Yup. He was on his way too. Among the greats and everything. Another name nobody don't talk about, Rocky Lockridge.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember all those years Rocky Lockridge was fighting, and then he finally got the champion for all those years. I mean, he passed away 2010 of drugs and stuff, but we don't talk about fights like that. No.
right.
Why? That's how I said why.
Yeah,
And that don't make no sense. And that's why, like, and I know people. You already know this story, B man and Brother DeFree. But I talk about stuff when I do boxing on his channel, so it's on there. Y'all can go check it out yourself. I do talk about it. People, oh no, let's. I one guy told me, I said, hey, yeah, you know what, man? Let's talk about Lupe Pinto. Nah, we ain't talking about Lupe Pinto. Yeah, we want to talk about what's that fighter they didn't even talk about at that time? There was another fighter, but he was no good. I said, y'all never heard of Lupe Pinto?
Mm-hmm.
God, I used to watch those fight when I was young. When they said ABC Sports and all that, I used to watch that.
Yeah,
Man,
that was that's what we was brought up on watching sports. When you can watch boxing free, you didn't have to worry about pay-per-view.
yup.
It wasn't no pay-per-view like that
Nope.
until Mike Tyson came along. It
Yep.
wasn't no pay-per-view.
Well, the baby, yeah. And sometimes, and sometimes they be having boxing for hours and stuff. Sometimes if you watch 2 shows in one. Oh, he got it off. So he be back. Hold on, y'all.
Okay.
So they used to have like top contenders. And I remember the belt USBA, something like that. You remember that? Remember that belt? I think it's
Yeah.
USBA. And you see that people don't understand it. That belt, the only way you get that belt, you gotta be a top 10 contender.
Right.
They will not let you fight. Stuff things like that. They ain't want to get now. You got a lot of belts out there. You know what, DeFree? I should have a belt because I was wearing my Nick jersey. How about that? They giving out belts like cookies. I'm like, but see, to me, and I want you to say I'm right or wrong. I can stand and be corrected. Less belts at that time. And let me tell you, when we talking about Mike Tyson, I want people to understand the IBF started to really form then.
Yeah.
It was on the WBA and WBC.
Right. The IBF came along with Larry Holmes. They
Right.
that's when they was around, but they didn't have no big name as a champion. And
Right.
so when Larry Holmes decided to drop the WBC, the IBF said they wanted to make him the champion, make him the face of the IBF. And so he became the IBF champion. And that's when the IBF came into existence. That's when people started knowing about the IBF championship.
Mm-hmm. Right. So people understand that, So then you got Aaron Pryor for the IBF, later on, and then that's when we started going into the 90s, then you got the WBA, WBC, and IBF, and that's when people say, hey, I could get these titles and stuff, and then but I feel back then it was less titles then, it was less belts then, but I feel the fighters back then was hungrier.
Yeah, because in order for you to be the champion, there was only one, maybe 2 guys you had to beat. So you had to
Right.
fight everybody in order to fight the champion. Now,
Yeah.
if somebody got a belt and you don't feel like you match up well against them, you say, "Oh no, I'm gonna go fight somebody else for a champion. This other guy got a championship belt. I think I match up better against him. Let me go fight
Yeah.
him instead."
Yeah. So, and I remember, you know what? And talking about Aaron Pryor, I remember and another name that we felt, no, not us, but other people felt talk. The late great Alexis Arguello.
Yeah.
Even before he fought Aaron Pryor, this guy was great.
Yeah, he was a hell of a fighter.
How you feel? Welcome. These are great fighters.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's real sad. Welcome. Hold on. Hold up. Sorry about that, fan. Hold up. Welcome, Aquafina. Welcome. We don't talk about it like that.
Yeah.
And so the conditions now we at right now. You got fighters right now, 15-1 with 10 knockouts, ain't fought nobody, or you got fighters that fought like they fought like 40 times and they ain't fight nobody, but they get a title shot and get slaughtered.
Right.
You know, the federation is moving them up in rankings. And we're going to talk about rankings too in the near future too.
Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about it.
I understand. All right. Because like I said, well, you have been a while. Telefino, I give fighters different names. So Telefino, I call him Telefucko. Don't like it. So I call him Telefucko. Canelo, he's the godfather of cherry picking. All right. And that no good I don't want to say his name, but I call him wild animal eating. I don't want to say his name. I call him wild animal eating. Yeah. I call. So I give people names. So that's what it's all.
Yeah, that's me right there.
Okay. So I take this up one night. Okay, well. Get out. Yeah. So let me ask you this question before we continue. Which fight that you want to see happen within a few months?
Of course, I want the Shakur versus Gervonta, but we're not going to get that right now.
Right.
I definitely want to see that fight. I want to see. I want to see Jerron Boots Ennis versus Bud. For whatever reason, Bud doesn't think it's a big money fight. Me personally, I think he believes that Jerron Boots Ennis has a high probability of beating him because he said it out of his own mouth. It's a high risk, a low reward. And the key word in there was high risk.
Right.
And so he knows that it's a high probability that Jerron Boots Ennis can beat him. And he's just looking for a payday before he walks out the door. I wanted to see Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez. I think that's a good fight, and is a great chance that Canelo Alvarez can win that fight. But there's also a good chance that David Benavidez can win that fight. That's the reason why I want to see it, because we don't know what the outcome is going to be. We believe what the outcome is, but we don't know what the outcome is.
Yeah.
Those are some of the fights that I would love to see happen. Will we get those fights happen? Don't know, because it seems like some guys don't want to push for it.
I said for me, you said those fighters, you took the words right out of my mouth. I ain't come from DeFree. I'm not. But the fight that I really want to see is Benavidez and Canelo. I'm gonna let you know right now. I don't like Canelo. I never liked him, and I don't care no much about him. You know, I'm just saying, when you fight somebody, when you fight somebody that you know that you could beat, and then the championships that he had, that they gave him a franchise belt, that sickens me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that, and so I used to go off Canelo. I said, I want him, and I want him to fight. Just like they both fought Canelo. Why? And then he said he don't want to run it back. And they was saying, yeah, he said, I can go to 168 and fight you. He don't even want to do that. So for me, I don't have no respect for him. If he beat you in the title, I just feel like this. You know how y'all say you supposed to be the face of boxing once you get your title back. He said, come on, get it.
Right.
So for me personally, I don't care that much about cherry picking, because as you know, you can do a lot of cherry picking. Something's gonna go wrong, and he picked Abel, and he thought that gonna be in his favor, and he cost him. Mm-hmm. And I was happy too. I ain't lying to you. When he looked, I had me some liquor. I made me some food, and I was happy. I said, "Yes, I was happy." But I just don't knock. I don't like Canelo. I don't. I feel like this. If you a champ, okay. Now I'll continue talking. You know, I feel you a champion. Prove that you're a champion. Fight everybody. Don't fight against garbage cans and all that. Yeah. Nah. So I just hold that. I believe Benavidez could beat him, but I believe that Benavidez at times he's still. I think he should work on his footwork more, but he got better. I can say he got better.
Yeah. He definitely what I saw in that last fight when he moved up to 75. I saw a lot of head movement from David Benavidez that I've never seen before. Right. And I saw some footwork from David Benavidez that I never saw before. So yeah, he definitely got better. He still got room to grow, because people have to remember David Benavidez, I think he only had somewhere like 15, 16 fights as an amateur, and then he went. So he pretty much learned how to be a pro in the pros. Right. Yeah, he never really had an amateur background. Yeah, he's been in the gym since he was a kid, but he didn't really have an amateur background like that. So he learned on the job. So he's still young. He's 26. I think he just turned 27 or about to turn 27. So he still got some growing to do. But he definitely got better than what he was a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So yeah, I say that too. Crawford. I make a name for Crawford. When it comes to me, I let you know. But I don't take nothing from Crawford. I don't take nothing from him. I don't take nothing. You know, he stepped up and everything. I would like to see other fighters that step up. I want to see what the Charlos is doing. You know, Earl Spence. I want to see what they're doing.
Well, Jamel, he's supposed to be coming back. Jamal, I believe he's done. He said he no longer have the love for the sport, and so I believe he's done. I don't think he's going to come back unless he's in desperate need of some money or something.
Money, yeah.
I don't think he's going to come back. But Jamel, he made an announcement that he's coming back. Yeah, Earl and Fendora are supposed to be fighting. We're going to see exactly what day they're going to actually fight on, because they haven't made an announcement. At first, they were saying it was going to be October, and then it was an announcement that it was supposed to be pushed back because Earl wasn't. It was questioned if Earl was hurt or not. Some people said it was because Earl haven't got the right trainer yet or something like that. I don't know exactly the reason why it was pushed back, but they said it was supposed to be pushed back, but the fight is still on. They didn't cancel the fight, they just pushed it back. So we got to see what date they fighting on. But I want to see if there really was anything wrong with Earl, or if Earl is just he's pretty much done, because that last fight that he had with Bud Crawford. I mean, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, people just making excuses for him," but that's not the same Earl Spence I seen that fought Ugas prior to that.
Right.
That's not the same Earl Spence I saw fight Danny Garcia. So yeah, he had an accident and it probably took a toll on him. But I wanna be sure that he's done, because it very well could just been the weight. He'd been at that weight class too long, and his body couldn't take staying at that weight, and he just drained himself to be there. So it very well could have just been that. So I mean, we will only know when he get in the ring again. If he get in the ring again and he looks the same way he looked when he fought Bud, then we know he's done. It's no need for him to keep getting in the ring. He's done.
Do you think that that's going to be a rematch?
I don't know. I think that might be Bud's biggest payday. Because Bud is still looking for a big payday. That might be his biggest payday. If he doesn't get this fight with Canelo, I don't see anybody else making a payday the way he was making when he fought Earl. I don't see anybody else giving him that same type of payday. And maybe Jamel, if Jamel comes back and he showed that he still got it, maybe Jamel can give him that payday. I don't know. I think Earl might be his biggest payday. So I don't know if they're going to have a rematch or not. I don't know.
I would like to see that. I would like to see it. I do.
But no, I'm not saying Bud is not that good. I said I want to see if Earl is done.
Right.
I ain't saying nothing about Bud. I want to see if Earl is done. Because if Earl gets in the ring and he looks the same way he looked when he fought Bud that last time, then we know Earl is literally done. He's literally done. Because I've never seen Earl look like that. And I seen the other guys that Bud Crawford fight, and I like I said, we all know styles make fights. Me personally, I don't believe in that cliche styles make fight. I believe it's who can impose their style makes the fight. But I seen the way Bud looked against Mean Machine. I seen the way Bud looked against Sean Porter. I seen the way Bud looked against Kell Brook. Those guys ain't, to me, those guys ain't better than Earl Spence. I mean, Bud didn't have no problems with Earl Spence at no point in time in that fight. From round 1 until they stopped it in round 9, Bud Crawford won every single second of that fight. So I mean, I that's why I said I want to see if if Earl is just done, because it could very well be the car accident took a toll on himself, on his body, and he's just done. You on mute, Underrated. You on mute.
Sometimes, you know, be on a certain weight class, it drains you and it takes you time to get back to. Because I want to see, I want to see the fight with Earl Spence and Bud, because I want to see if Earl Spence wins. If he beat Bud, right? That means that'd be 1-1. Then it has to be another fight to see who's going to win battle.
It should be another fight.
It should be another fight after that.
It should be.
It should be. And it should not be wait for like 2 or 3 years. It should be within a year.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like everybody that saw that fight when Earl lost to Bud, and they were like, "Oh, we don't need to see a rematch." no, if they put a rematch in the contract, and that man wants to he wants to take his rematch, they should have a rematch, because, like I said, I seen when Muhammad Ali got beat up against Joe Frazier in that first fight, and then he came right back and beat Joe Frazier in the next fight.
Right.
I mean, I seen people get beat up badly in the first fight and then come back and win in the next fight.
Right.
So I mean, if EJ, like hypothetically saying, if EJ do get in that ring with Bud again, and he beats Bud and possibly stops Bud, then what all the fans going to say? They're going to be like, okay, maybe it was something wrong with Earl at 47.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he stayed at that weight class too long, because you see the two difference in the fight. If Earl come in there and he looks better and he beats Bud, even if he doesn't stop him, but he beats Bud, you see a different Earl than what you saw at 47. Or they're gonna say, well, Bud is too old. You gonna say Bud is too old then? I'm just saying. I mean, like I said, things happen in fights, and that's what happens.
Yeah, and
when you get a 50-50 fight, or you get two top level fighters fighting against each other. It can go one way or another.
Yeah. Let me read this before we continue. Cooker with CER, thanks for coming, brother. Thanks for always supporting me. He said, Bud took it easy on Porter. Even Porter said that. Said that will never happen. Underrated darkness. EJ can't beat Bud, bro. Also, last one he said, no one beat that bad on that level like Bud beat AJ. Wishing on a star, no disrespect. Okay.
I'm not wishing on anything. I don't care. I could care less if they get in the ring or not. I'm just saying, if it was to happen that way, then the excuse is gonna be, oh, Bud is old now. Because they're gonna make an excuse the reason why EJ won. He got beat up the first fight, but now EJ won this fight. They're gonna make an excuse the reason why he won.
Right.
It just happens. I mean, fans always make an excuse. That's why I said I want to see, because if there was something actually wrong with Earl, then when he get in there with him this time, it should be a different outcome. I mean, a different outcome. Now, Bud might still win the fight. He might still win the fight, but it would look totally different from the first fight if there was something wrong with him. If there was nothing wrong with him and Bud is just that good, just that much better than EJ, then you would know in the second fight. That's why I want to see the second fight.
So what you think about the last fight that before we continue, that Bud fight?
I think Bud looked a little off. His punch placement was a little off. His timing was a little off. He started to pick it up later in the fight, and that could be from the ring rust. He was out for over a year.
Right.
He started to pick it up as the fight went on. The last two rounds, I believe Bud won that fight. I gave him the last two rounds easily.
Right.
The first 10 rounds, I had it a draw. I had it 5-5 going into the 11th round. I think Bud pulled out the 11th and the 12th round, and he won it 7-5. But he looked a little off. Like I said, it could be ring rust. It could be the weight. It's a couple of things it could have been, but he looked a little off. He didn't look like the Bud Crawford that I saw against EJ and the other fighters that he fought at 47. He didn't look like that same fighter. He looked a little off.
Yeah. I seen it too, but I seen it, because people actually said, "Do you think Bud won?" I said, "Well, he won." Now, if people said it would have been a draw, okay, but no, the guy, at the later rounds, he's the guy. He didn't pick it up, and Bud showed his ringing veteran that he is. He pulled it out.
Yeah.
What is?
Yeah, he said that I do the punch stats. Nah, I don't do punch stats. I'm going by what I see. I don't need to do the punch stats. I know what I see. I seen that man was missing shots. His punch placement was off. I don't need to do the punch stats. Punch stats not going to tell me the punch placement. They're going to tell me punch landed and punch missed. They're not going to tell me. They're not going to show me the punch placement.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all get too caught up in punch stats. We seen plenty of fights where a guy definitely landed more shots than they gave him credit for. We seen fights where they gave guys shots that he didn't land. So I don't go by the punch stats because the punch stats is not always accurate. It's somebody looking at the fight and say, okay, that shot landed or that shot missed. It's not an actual computer where they got a sensor on the glove and is a sensor on the guy's body that's saying that shot landed.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody actually counting the shots that they believe landed and missed.
Yeah. Well, I know for me when I got older, why?
No, you went back on mute. Underrated.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why I keep on doing that. Damn. Well, I know my favorite fight is always Thomas Hearns. Because the way he had to overcome in his second half of his career. I'm very impressed with that. You know, defense got better. Well, you had Manuel Stewart, the late great Manuel Stewart. You know, what can you do? You know, so I see him do different things when he got older. Setting up, he always got the right, banging the body more. I mean, he was banging the body, but banging the body more. Knocking people out with left hand, like left hook, like, I was like, wow. And he did different things, and I always say this, and he never got hurt. He would have been 7-time world champion. Because when he fought at cruiserweight, he was going to get ready to go to cruiserweight. He was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And he would never got hurt. He would have got the cruiserweight. That was 7 times.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, that's my favorite fighter. So that's my favorite. They said, well, I should Ray Leonard. No, I never. Always he's sneaky. He's sneaky. But when he fought Roberto Durant the first time, why are you fighting? Durant, that's his fight,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna tell you what Sugar Ray Leonard calculate he did. That's when Durant, he originally for Panama. He went to Panama party and stuff like that. He signed that. He made him fight him within that year.
Yeah.
Calculate the same thing. That's the only time he did it. And so, even like he calculated when he fought the late great Marvin Hagler.
Mm-hmm.
Calculated.
Yeah.
Sucker move,
Sugar Ray Leonard. I had 2 favorite fighters in my lifetime of watching boxing. I've been watching boxing for roughly about 40 years. I had 2 favorite fighters. It was Sugar Ray Leonard and Roy Jones. Those were my 2 favorite fighters. I haven't had a favorite fighter since them 2. The thing about Sugar Ray Leonard, when he fought Marvin Hagler, he knew the last 20 seconds would leave a standing impression in the judges. And if you paid attention to that fight, the last 20 seconds of every round, that's when Sugar Ray Leonard would throw on a flurry, and he would throw the most punches at the last 20 seconds of every single round. But he knew that was going to leave a lasting impression in the judges' mind. That's what they saw last. And they're going to you know what? Sugar Ray Leonard won that fight. Well, he won that round. and that's he did it every single round.
He did, yeah.
Because if you look at the fight, for the majority of the fight, Hagler was throwing majority of the punches throughout the round. It was the last 20 seconds of every round, Sugar Ray Leonard would throw on a flurry, and he would leave that lasting impression in the judge's mind of him catching Hagler with a flurry at the end of the round. And they were like, well, we got to get at the Sugar Ray Leonard. Even though the first 2 minutes and 40 seconds of that fight, Hagler was winning.
Right.
Of each round. Hagler was winning that first 2 minutes and 40 seconds of each round. Hagler was pretty much winning those fights.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing. Despite I didn't like him as a person, but I do respect him. He sometimes, for me, he had that clock in his head.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, last 20 seconds, last minute.
Yeah.
And so that's the time. That's what I respect and everything. Anybody want to ask questions in the chat? Please do. Anybody want to ask questions? Chat. Yeah, but now let me ask you this question about the commentary. Because I know sometimes I heard you talk about the commentary of these boxes of the commentary. What you think about it? Because I remember years ago, it was top notch,
Yeah.
And even that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, as of late, I started turning the commentary off because the commentary is usually one-sided. They're usually going for the fighter that's either more popular or the fighter that they really want to win. That's what they're usually going for. Because I sit there and watch the fight with no sound because either I'm calling the fight or somebody else is calling the fight, and so I'm just watching it and listen to them call it. And if you go back and watch the fight, you'll have one outlook on the fight, and you'll look at it a different way. But when you watch it with the commentary, you'll look at it totally different because they saying shots landed when shots didn't land. Because when you watch the replay, you're like, oh, that shot didn't land. And you sometimes when they do the replay, you will hear the commentary say, yeah, look at this shot right here. Oh, well, that shot didn't land. That shot didn't land. But it looked good. I'm like, y'all just be saying stuff just to say it because they want a certain fighter to look like he's winning the fight. So a lot of times the commentary they be off mark. Now there's sometimes where the commentary be right on, but a lot of times they be one-sided and they be way off the mark because they only rooting for one fight, especially if it's like a top rank event and they fighting somebody that's not a top ranked fighter.
Right.
They'll be going strictly for the top ranked fighter, and a lot of times it doesn't be what they saying it is.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really listen to the commentators too much as of late because they one-sided.
Yeah, I think that what they should do, I mean, a fighter don't have to be a champion, but they already know the ins and outs. They should hire more boxers that knows the ins and outs. I think it would help. It would help the boxing talk. They could break things down. They know the mannerism. They know the trainers and stuff. What you need to do and stuff. Now they pick anybody out the street. You don't know. Like Timothy Bradley. I know a lot of people don't care about Timothy Bradley. I really don't know, but he was a fighter. He was a champion. Now there's certain things that off. Yeah. So. Yeah, Andre Ward. So
now Andre Ward, for the most part, he tried to keep it unbiased for the most part. He tried to keep it unbiased. Timothy Bradley, he have his agenda as well. He has his agenda. Now he will call it out if he sees something that don't look right. Like when it came to Shakur Stevenson, he called out Shakur Stevenson for those last two performances. I can't get on Shakur for his last performance because I didn't see nothing wrong in his last performance. Shakur did an excellent boxing match. He pressed the fight the entire night.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with a lot of people is he just didn't do what he said he was going to do, which was knock him out. And there was opportunities where he could have knocked him out. There was opportunity where he could have. He just didn't go for it. And so I didn't really have a problem with his performance because if you look at the De Los Santos fight and then you go look at the Artem fight, it wasn't a bad fight. The Artem fight was way better than the De Los Santos fight.
Yeah. Also, hey, read these comments here. Oh, God. Okay. Read these comments here. Buzz Story B, man, welcome back. He said, people just don't want to credit Crawford. I never seen over critiquing and angle views of he and Haney's performance as opposed to many other fighters in the sport. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Despite I don't care about Crawford, I do respect him as a boxer. And he should get credit for it. Even Devin Haney. And I'm saying that I said the last time he'll get that much hatred is really when Wilder was fighting.
Yeah. I'm one of those few people, like everybody was so big on Haney going out here knocking people out or Haney going to get the knockout. I'm like, dog, Haney is a boxer. We don't know you as a puncher. Don't go out there try to knock somebody out. That's not what you are. You're not a knockout artist. You're a boxer. There's nothing wrong with being just a boxer. Go out there and outclass him. Show that you are a better boxer than he is, and make him have to fight your style of fight. That's why when he fought Garcia, I was like, dog, what game plan was they thinking about? Because that's not the type of fighter that Devin Haney is. He literally just went out there to try to knock him out instead of just outboxing. Because there was moments in that fight when Haney was boxing, he was beating Garcia easily. He was beating him easy. But then he'd give himself up to try to go for a knockout shot and get caught with the left hook.
Right.
Like, dog, come on. So I was one of those few fans of, I mean, I'm not even gonna say a fan. I was one of those few supporters of Haney that was telling him, no, you don't need to knock nobody out. If you get the knockout, you get the knockout. But go out there and just outbox them. We know you as a boxer. We don't know you as a knockout artist. I don't care about the knockout. If the knockout come, they come. But if you can go out there and you can outbox this guy and make it look like this guy don't belong in the ring with you, that's impressive. Especially when you at that level and a guy's supposed to be close to your level or on your level, and you outbox him and make him look like he doesn't belong in the ring with you, that's impressive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and that's the thing about it, just stay for who you are, So I listen to people, and that's what they stay who you are. Like you said, if you're a boxer, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's why I say it's not the styles that make fight, it's who can impose their style that makes the fight. Because if you can make this guy fight your style of fighting, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win that matchup. Especially if he's not used to fighting that style. 9 times out of 10, you're going to win that matchup. Because you're making him fight your style. You're more comfortable fighting that style. He's more comfortable fighting another style. So if you make him fight your style, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win that matchup.
Yeah.
That's the reason why Sugar Ray Leonard lost to Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran made Sugar Ray Leonard fight his style of fight.
Yeah.
Then we see what happened in the rematch. Sugar Ray Leonard fought his style, made Roberto Duran quit.
Yep. No mas. Yeah. And also Toto Gotti, the late great Toto Gotti, if you look at most of his fights, he made them to fight his fight, and he ended up winning it.
Yeah.
You know, he could be bloody up, hurt and everything. But one thing about Total Gotti that people don't know, he had a heart, but he could knock you out with any hand.
Yeah. Total Gotti, he had power.
Yeah, power, yeah.
Toro Gotti, he had a lot of heart, a lot of grit, and he had a decent chin because he didn't get knocked out in a lot of fights. He got stopped because he got beat up so bad, but he didn't get knocked out. I think he got knocked out maybe twice in his career. He got actually knocked out, but the rest of them he got stopped because he got beat up so bad. So,
I remember I remember the war the wars that he had against Mickey Ward.
Yeah.
Those was classic, bro. They was going at it too. And you know, then later on they become best friends.
Yeah. Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. Sir, that's the IQ plays a major part in the fight. The IQ and the mental plays a major part because you can be highly skilled, but if you don't have the mental and you don't have the IQ of when to use your skills or how to use your skill, I ain't gonna say when or how to use your skill. The skills for the most part, when you're dealing with the top level, the skills, it doesn't matter because Floyd Mayweather, he wasn't more skilled than a lot of those guys later in his career. He had the better IQ than those guys. His reflexes and his movement kind of diminished as he got older. He didn't move around the ring like he did when he was Pretty Boy. He didn't have those legs. He didn't have the knockout punch like he did when he was Pretty Boy because his hands was brittle. But he had the ring IQ and he had the defense in order to beat you. He know I can make you miss and I can still catch you. So I mean, yeah, the mental and the ring IQ definitely plays a major part when you get to the top level. The athleticism and the skills plays a part when you at the low level, when you just starting out. If you more skilled than another fighter or you more athletic than another fighter, you can usually win those fights off of your skill and athleticism. You don't really have to have the ring IQ when you first starting out. But as you move up in competition, the ring IQ comes into play.
Yeah. And I think people sometimes that's a good what you said, but see, because a lot of people when they talk about boxing, they don't talk about IQ and top level. They don't talk about we talk about over here. You know, that's why if you see like fighters in the past and all the way up right now, when you become champion, you gotta have IQ. You gotta have a certain IQ to stay a champion because you gotta fight. You know, some styles that even the champion's not even comfortable with.
Yeah.
And they still beat them. Like I give what's that fighter?
Hold on one second.
Marvin Hagler, the late great Marvin Hagler. You know, he can fight orthodox, he can fight southpaw. But look how many styles he had to fight against and still winning. You gotta have this. But there's a fight I always want to see, but I never want to see the late great Marvin Hagler and the late great Carlos Marson. I'm saying it's a dream. I always want to see how that's gonna come. I do. I want to see like yeah. No, but my thing is we gotta talk about stuff like that. We gotta talk about stuff like that. Now let's talk about 140.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it. There's a buzz in 140. No, 135, 140, 147. But we want to talk about 140. Who do you think is going to be the cream of the crop of 140?
Excuse me. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because it looked like two of the champions are moving out of the weight class. Well, one of them dropped the belt already. The other one looked like he's moving out of the weight class. So it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to say.
What's the two you talking about? People don't know.
Devin Haney's dropped his belt, and he's supposed to be going to 47. Talk is he's supposed to be fighting Mario Barrio. And Tio is planning on going to 47 to fight Brian Norman Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So if that
got kicked off again. I'm getting back. Come back. Again, welcome to my channel, Underrated Dr. Yours truly, the #1 grinder, one of the best kept secrets on social media, the best of the business. And also, we got Brother DeFree, who we be back in few. And this is Underrated Boxing Talk number 30, that's it, 32. 92. We was pushing to get 100. And they might be have a chance, we'll might get 100. Never know. 8 more to go. So wait till he come back. But I asked those questions because the future of boxing gonna be dependent on those fighters. Because I think heavyweight, I think the welterweight is going to be really something. 154 is going to be something. Oh. But I really don't. There's going to be a step up. You got Devin Haney and you got Telefino, and step up welterweight, and I think that's really going to spark the welterweight. And then there, I heard I don't know, Spence. I heard there's some talk that Spence is going to move up to 154. Now, if he move up to 154, I will say this: that he got it. I mean, after got to take care of business. After that, that's what I'm saying. That hopefully he can fight Crawford. But let's see what happens. But Don King is back in the scene. There are a lot of people don't like it. I just want to see fight people great. Spence got to get through Fonda first. Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm saying. Get through him first. So if he get through him first, let's see what happens. Yeah. I agree with that, Brother Josh. Yes.
All right, there we go.
Okay, he said Crawford retires Spence for good this time. I hope Spence don't fight. But I'm gonna say this: in boxing, anything happens.
Yeah.
Any fighter have his day. That's why, like a long time ago, I was humble. Any fighter have his days. That's what people like. I understand. Let me talk about the Crawford because I know you're a big Crawford fan, brother. See, and I respect that. But any fighter could be humble.
Yeah.
They probably, you know how boxing is. You can say, "Oh yeah, that person they beat them." That ain't gonna never happen, and all of a sudden they could get that right training and all that, and things could switch up.
Yeah. Any fight can happen.
If I no good. Like I said, cherry picking. Be careful. They can cost you.
Yeah.
I said there are other people he can still beat. He needs to fight them. He will. He will. Oh, I like that background. What is that? Got upside down.
Yeah, that's my background for my channel when I'm on with BVO, Rolling with the Punches podcast.
Yeah, you got to get him over here. Yeah, you got to get him over here. Let me tell y'all. Y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta go see them. It's epic over there, though. It's epic over there. I'd be like, yeah. I probably good. Congratulations, y'all. Keep on doing your thing, but you need to bring it over here so we can get it going. Bring it over here. Yeah. We can get it popping because that's the thing about that. I'm very disappointed in boxing too, especially us as content creators. I'm not talking about Story B Man and G5 and you and even Cookie CR. It's just that there's no real boxing talk any. I ain't gonna say no more. Holly.
Yeah.
It's always simp news. It's always I like the fight. You're listening to mainstream media too much.
Yeah, mainstream media kind of put a damper on certain fighters.
Yeah. And so, okay, now we got a what about 135? Who think gonna take on 135?
135. It seemed like nobody want to fight Tank. That's what it seemed like. Like nobody want to fight Tank. I don't know what happened with the whole situation with Shakur. Shakur told everybody that his team was talking to Tank. They just had to get the money right. Didn't hear nothing else about it. Then next thing you know, boom, dropped on us yesterday. Shakur fight Joe Cordina. I'm like, Joe Cordina?
Right.
Didn't Joe Cordina just get knocked out at 130? And now he's 135 and you fighting him?
Yeah, that's the same one, right.
I mean, and then you're the undercard of the Batervala versus Bivol. You're the co-main event. You're not even the main event. I'm like, all right. I mean, it's your career, Shakur. I mean, your fans was complaining about your last two fights. Me personally, I didn't complain about the last fight, but the fight prior to that, yeah, it was a bad performance. But you got people walking out of the arena in your last fight. You got people falling asleep at your fights. I'm like, and then you take Joe Cordina. No, there's so many other fighters at 35 that you could have fought. This man was 130 pounds.
Right.
He just got knocked out in his last fight. And he's moving up to 35 and he's fighting you. He's the number 13. We just got on Tio by fighting the number 13 fighter. Now you're fighting the number 13 fighter. So you got to get the same work that we gave Tio. Because I gotta keep it consistent, and that's what I keep telling my man BBO. I gotta be consistent. If I say it for one, I gotta say it for the other one that's doing the same thing.
There you go. Right, I can't. Right.
It's a horrible fight. It's horrible. I mean,
yeah, it is. I say this, despite I don't like Tio. I don't, but we got to keep it consistent. You doing the same thing, Shakur. You're doing the same thing. But see, you got Shakur fans right now in these spaces. You shouldn't say that. He fight. So I'm just saying like this, though. Want you fight Tank. Tank been calling you out. Why you don't want to fight Tank? Tank said, I don't care. Let's sign up.
And like I said, even if it was Tank fault, the reason why the fight didn't happen, there's so many other guys you could have fought at 135 instead of fighting Joe Cordina. You could have took the Raymond Maritado fight. I know Ray would have got in there with you.
Yep.
You could have fought Frank Martin if you want to fight somebody that just got beat. Frank Martin is ranked number 8 in the WBC.
I'm saying 135 is loaded.
Now I believe Frank is supposed to be going to 140 in his next fight. I don't know. I mean, we'll find out when his next
there's
fight
some talk about that. I heard that too.
Yeah, we'll find out when his next fight happens. I mean, I believe he's supposed to be going to 140, so we'll see. But I mean, there's other guys you could have fought. I mean, God, no, you taking a guy that's ranked number 13 who just got knocked out in his last fight. So I mean, he's going to get criticized by it, and it is what it is. You gotta take the criticism because it's a bad fight. It's a bad fight. I mean, I expect Shakur to do what he always do because this dude is not on paper. This dude should not be in the ring with Shakur Stevenson. He should not be in the ring with Stevenson on paper. If you're looking at Joe Cordina and you're looking at Shakur Stevenson should not be fighting him next. If you had 2 bad outings, if your fans said your last 2 fights were bad outings, in order to bring those fans back to want to see you fight, you have to pick a better opponent. You can't go and pick a number 13 fighter and say, "Oh, I'm giving my fans this." No, you expecting more criticism. There's going to be more criticism behind that. Now, I mean, they say that Williams Zepeda don't want to fight him. Okay, Williams Zepeda don't want to fight you. So you mean to tell me you went through the list of everybody that's on your top 10 at the WBC and nobody wanted to fight you? I know Keyshawn will take the fight, but you don't want to fight Keyshawn because that's your quote unquote brother. I know Keyshawn will fight. So I mean, it's just a bad look. It's a bad look all the way around. I don't know, but I don't know what's going to happen at 135 because I think these guys are going to be playing Ring Around the Roses for a little too long, and those young guys are going to move up and say, "Hey, it's my turn."
Yep.
Because Abdullah Mason is knocking on their doors. He's about to. I need Abdullah Mason get. Joe Cordina should be fighting Abdullah Mason. That's who should be fighting Abdullah Mason. Joe Cordina. That should be Abdullah Mason next fight. That's the level that Joe Cordina is on at 135. He should be fighting Abdullah Mason. Let Abdullah Mason get that work. You ain't supposed to have that work. You're supposed to be above that work. You're supposed to be above that. That's supposed to be Abdullah Mason. That's supposed to be his coming out party. He fight Joe Cordina, beat Joe Cordina. That's supposed to catapult him into the top 10.
Right.
So, I mean, but yeah, those young guys are going to be knocking on the door within like another year or so. Those young guys are going to be knocking on the door. Y'all going to be still playing Ring Around the Rosies, and Next thing you know, Abdullah Mason is your mandatory, or Emilio Vargas is your mandatory.
Yep.
Or Keyshawn Davis is your mandatory.
And Keyshawn Davis ain't far at all, no. He's not.
Yeah, that's why I said
mandatory. Right.
I'm trying to figure out how it's going to work, because if Zepeda said he don't want to fight with Keyshawn, Shakur. Keyshawn Davis is right there. I believe Keyshawn Davis is number 2 or number 3 in that sanctioning body. If I'm not mistaken, he's number 2 or number 3. I don't know if they got Raymond Muratalla over him, but I know Keyshawn Davis is right there.
You're right there, right?
Yeah, I'm about to look it up right now. I think. There we go. Pull it up. WBC. Yeah, Raymond Muratalla is number 2. Keyshawn Davis is number 3. So, yeah, pretty soon, Keyshawn gonna be knocking on that door. I know we brothers, but they offering me a title fight. You gonna take it? Because I'm taking it.
Yep. And what you gonna say, Shakur? Oh, yo, don't I ain't gonna fight you because you my brother. No. That don't work in boxing.
Y'all not blood. Y'all not blood.
Right.
I can understand if that was your blood brother. I can understand. Y'all not blood.
Not blood, nope. Gotta lace them up.
Man, somebody gonna if they make Keyshawn the mandatory, somebody gonna have to duck, or they're gonna have to lace them up. They either gonna duck or they're gonna lace them up. So
that means something. If they don't lace them up, that means it's going to be a quack.
Somebody, and I'm gonna call them out on it. I mean, it is what it is. That's why I say y'all everybody want to be buddy, and that's my big bro, that's my little bro. Well, y'all in the same division. How y'all gonna be big bro and little bro? And I said this for a while now. I probably like a year or two. I said this. I said, well, Keyshawn saying he's the best, and Shakur saying he's the best. They're in the same weight class. How are they going to prove that they're the best if they're in the same weight class? They got to fight each other. In order to prove that they're the best, they got to fight each other. He said, I feel that Keyshawn would beat Shakur if they fought. I mean, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility.
Possibility, yep.
I mean, Keyshawn got some holes in his game that can be exposed by Shakur, but we see how Shakur get when he get in there with guys that got some power. He tends to be more defensive than offensive. And yeah, you might not want to get knocked out, but that can cost you the fight. You get in there with the right fighter, because the right fighter is going to make you be defensive the entire fight. They're not going to let you get no offense off. They're going to make you be defensive. And that's why I don't understand why the Williams Zepeda fight didn't go down, because I believe Williams Zepeda is one of those fighters that can make Shakur be over defensive. He'll hold his hands in the pocket for way too long. And we all know that Williams Zepeda like to throw a bunch of punches. He averaged somewhere around 100 punches around. So that's and he got power. So not only is he throwing a lot of shots, but he got power, something that Shakur don't like to deal with. So now he doesn't have the best footwork though. Now Shakur can outbox him if Shakur can use his footwork, because he doesn't have the best footwork. He got okay footwork, but it ain't the best. He can definitely be outboxed if he get in there with somebody that can box and they got a better ring IQ than him. He can definitely be outboxed. But the question is, how can you stay away from the number of punches that he's going to throw? If you can't hurt him, he's going to keep throwing punches. He's just going to keep coming, and he throws them in bunches. He might throw a jab here and there, and then next thing you know, he's throwing a 5-6 punch combination right behind it. So it would have been a hell of a fight, because now you got the offense versus defense, because we know Shakur is a defensive fighter, and we know Williams Zepeda is an offensive fighter. So you got the offense versus defense, and we would have seen which one wins. But I don't know if it was Williams Zepeda that didn't want the fight, or if it was Oscar that didn't want the fight, or whoever. I don't know, but somebody said they didn't want the fight, so they're not fighting, because it was supposed to be a purse bid yesterday. The purse bid was supposed to happen yesterday, but it got called off. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna see where Williams Zepeda gonna go, because he's number 1 in all 4 sanctioning bodies. So where is he going to go next?
Yeah,
is he gonna go to?
I said Shakur, he gotta fight somebody. You gotta fight somebody. Picking number 13, you gonna pick somebody number 13. You ain't pick nobody number 10.
Like I said, he could have picked Raymond Maritala. He could pick Keyshawn Davis. He could have picked the rematch with De Los Santos. Mark Chamberlain is number 5. Andy Cruz is number 6, but Andy Cruz just had a fight. They got some other dude I never heard of him before. He's number 7. They got Frank Martin at number 8. They got Lemons at number 9, and they got Antonio Perez at number 10. They got some dude named Sam Noakes at number 11, and this other dude named Claudio at number 12, and then Joe Cordina at number 13. And then you got Artem at number 14, and George Kambosos at number 15 in the WBC. So, and that's another thing too. They said this fight was mandatory. This was mandated fight between Williams Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson, and they had a purse bid set up. If they called the purse bid off and the fight is not happening, Zepeda's supposed to be moving out of that mandatory spot. He's supposed to be dropping in the rankings. So we got to see if Oscar and the WBC did some funny business, and see if Williams Zepeda going to stay at number 1. Right. Because we already know how the WBC do for the Mexican fighters. They always favor the Mexican fighters. So we
for years.
Because that's usually what happens. That's how it's supposed to go. You have a mandatory fight. This fight is called a mandatory. It's been ordered. Whichever fighter doesn't take that fight, if it's the champion, he loses belt. And then that mandatory got to fight for the vacant belt against whoever they say he's going to fight, usually the number 2 or number 3. Or the mandatory said they don't want the fight, they usually drop him out of the rankings because he vacated his mandatory spot. They usually drop him out of the rankings. So we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, got you. But what about 140?
140. I think Alberto Puyo is supposed to be having a fight coming up on the undercard of the Tank Davis fight once Tank Davis announced who he's going to fight. And I believe Tank Davis is going for that IBF champion, Burachek, that beat Neverati. I believe that's who he's going for next. So once Tank Davis announced his fight, Puyo is supposed to be fighting for the vacant WBC belt that Devin Haney dropped. But you got right now, Tio is still the WBO champion, and you got El Rayo as the WBA champion now. So who's gonna fight? I think Alberto Puyo will fight El Rayo. Tio's supposed to be moving to 147, so that belt gonna be vacant. We're gonna see who's gonna fight for that belt.
Right.
That belt gonna be vacant. That's why I say it's kind of up in the air right now, because we got 2 of the champions supposed to be moving out of their weight class. One person already dropped the belt, so we gotta wait to see who's gonna be champion for the WBC. And then we got T.O. supposed to be moving to 47 to fight Brian Norman. And so his belt going to be vacant. So we got to see who fights for that belt. So right now, the only two champions that we got, if T.O. does move to 47, the only two champions we got, well, actually, the only true champion we got is El Rayo. El Rayo is the only true champion because Alberto, he's fighting for the vacant WBC. So that belt is still open. So the only true champion we got is El Rayo as the WB. Oh, no, who's the IBF champion? Who's the IBF champion at 140? I didn't look and see. The IBF champion at 140, like the WBC is vacant. Oh, Piro, Lehman Piro, the one that just beat he just beat my boy.
Piro.
Matias. He beat Matias. He beats Matias. Yeah, he just beat Matias. So yeah. So you got him and you got El Rayo, the only two true champions right now. Because we don't know what T.O. is going to do yet, because he's going to fight Brian Norman Jr. at 47, and the WBC is vacant. So it's up for grabs right now. Who's going to be the king of 140? It's up for grabs right now. I mean, there's still a lot of guys there that can fight. You got Aaron Barbosa. He still haven't got his championship fight. He's number one to T.O. right now. And T.O.'s just avoiding that dude. He's been calling out T.O. for a minute. T.O. is not trying to fight him. T.O. talking about going to 47. And I didn't even realize that Aaron Barbosa was number one. And now T.O. talking about going to 47. He's been calling out T.O. for the last 2 years. He's been wanting to fight T.O. And then you got Richardson Hitchens, who's number 3. You got Jack Catterall, who's number 2. He's about to fight Regis Prograis. And then let me see. Then we go over to the IBF. Richardson Hitchens is number 1 for Puro belt. You got Jack Catterall number 3. You got Aaron Barbosa number 4. You got Matias number 5. Then the WBC, Sandor Martin, Jack Catterall, Alberto Puyo, and Antoine is number 4. And they got somebody named Dalton Smith as number 3. And then the WBA, you got Kenneth Sims Jr. at number 1. Bravo at number 2, Jack Catterall at number 3, Regis Prograis at number 4. And how they got El Rayo at number 5 and he's the champion? That's a mistake. So you gotta move that dude, Andy. I don't know how to say his last name. He's from Japan. They got him at number 6. You got to move him up to number 5 because they got El Rayo at number 5 and he's the champion. That he's not even supposed to be in the rankings at all. He's the champion. So yeah, it's up for grabs at 140 because it doesn't seem like none of the champions are fighting each other. So it's up for grabs.
Okay. Find out on that. What about 147?
147, you got Jerome Bucenis as the IBF champion. They still got Bud Crawford as the WBA champion. Don't know why he hasn't dropped his belt yet, because if he drops his belt, then Stanionis will become the WBA champion. You got Mario Barrio as the WBC champion, and the WBO is Brian Norman Jr. So, and that's, I mean, right now, those are the only real fights right there. I mean, you got Conor Benn, number 2 in the WBC and in the IBF. I mean, number 3 in the IBF. The number 2 is vacant. And then you got Conor Benn, number 3. Actually, he's number 2 at the WBA because they got Earl Spence Jr., number 2. And Earl is at 54. He's not coming back down to 47. So Conor Benn is number 2 in 3 of the sanctioning bodies. So outside of the champions, which is me. I'm gonna look at Stanionis as the champion because I don't think Bud is gonna come back down to 47. I think he's gonna drop that belt. Stanionis is the WBA, Mario Barrio WBC, Jerome Busin is IBF, and Brian Norman the WBO. Those are the best fights right now at that weight class, and you can throw in Conor Benn in there. Those are the best fights. Everybody else, I mean, it really ain't nobody else that's worth talking about at 47. I mean, it's some decent guys, but it ain't nobody really worth talking about at 47 outside of those 5 guys.
Yeah, what about outside of? What about on 154?
54, now that's where all the smoke is at. 54 is where all the smoke is at.
Yeah.
54, you got Terrence Crawford, the WBA champion. You got Sebastian Fandora, the WBC champion. You got Burkham, the IBF champion, and you got Sebastian Fandora, the WBO champion. You got Terrence Crawford as the WBO interim champion. You got Tim Tszyu, number 1, Virgil Ortiz, number 2, Xander Zayas, number 3, Josh Kelly, number 4, Erickson Lubin, number 5, Earl Spence, number 6, Errol Spence, number 6. And then at number 10, they got Charles Conway in the WBO. Charles Conway is number 10. IBF, Erickson Lubin, number 3. The number 1 and number 2 is vacant. Erickson Lubin is number 3. Tim Tszyu is number 4. Josh Kelly is number 5. Jesus Ramos, number 6. Xander Zayas, number 7. Caleb Wash, number 8. And nobody else really to be talked about there. The WBC, Earl Spence, number 1. They got who these 2 guys? Oh, Magnumov, number 3. I don't know this other dude that's number 4. And then they got Charles Conway. I mean, I'm number 2. Charles Conway, number 4. Jesus Ramos is number 5. Xander Zayas, number 6. Erickson Lubin, number 7. The WBA, Abbas is number 1. Erickson Lubin, number 2. Vito, number 3. Tim Tszyu, number 4. I can't even think of it. BF always call him Rab Zab Booty. He's number 5. You got Jesus Ramos, number 7. And that's pretty much it for that. So it's a lot of work at 54. It's at 54.
But you remember, like a few years ago, we always used to say that welterweight was a crop, creating a crop of boxing. Now it seems like the 154s now.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say that?
Yeah, because the top 2 guys that was at 54. At 47, they moved to 54. Then there's a couple of other guys that was at 47 that moved to 54 that's been at 54 for a while. But then you got what's his name? You got all the other guys that's been there. And that's not even mentioning Jamel coming back, because Jamel said he was coming back.
Right.
That's not even mentioning that Jamel is still the linear champion at 54. So you got right now the top 10 at 54 is Bud Crawford, Magnumov, Sebastian Fandora, Virgil Ortiz, Tim Tszyu, Bochek at number 6, Erickson Lubin number 7, Ramos number 8, Charles Conwell number 9, and Brian Mendoza number 10. Those are the top 10 right now. So, and like I said, and Jamel Charlo is still the linear champion at 54. So it's a lot of work that can be made at 54 for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that weight class right at 154 is going to be there for a while. Because there's nothing, there's no way you can turn around.
Yeah, Stormy B Man says Zepeda's his work rate is possibly too high for Tank and Shakur. I think it might be too high for Shakur. I think Tank can maneuver around it. I think Tank ring IQ is high enough to be able to maneuver around it. And I would love to see that fight because I've never seen nobody, I never seen Tank Davis in there with somebody that throw as many punches as Zepeda. The problem with Zepeda is when he's throwing those shots, he does leave himself open.
Open, right.
And Tank Davis can catch him with a nice shot. Now, I wonder if, because I never seen Zepeda actually chin check yet. I never seen him chin check. So I wonder if Tank catch him with a nice shot, would that punch rate go down? Where he stopped throwing so many punches because he got caught with a good shot. So I mean, I would love to see it. I would love to see it because and see people they argued me the other day when we was talking about it. They was like, do you think that Tank Davis is elite? I said, well, he hasn't proven it yet. I said he very well can be elite, but he hasn't fought an A-level fighter to prove that he is elite. So I'm not saying that he's not. I'm not saying that he is. He just hasn't proven it to me. He hasn't proven it that he's elite. He very well could be, but he needs those type of fights to prove that he is elite. Because to me, Tank Davis is the best at 135. I don't see nobody beating him. Not saying that nobody can't beat him. I don't see nobody beating him. Yeah. Tank ain't as busy, but he can. He a counterpuncher by nature, and that's the thing. Like I said, he can very well catch Zepeda off of it, because what Zepeda tends to do after he throws those combinations, he tends to bring his guard down. So if he builds up a rhythm and Tank catches on to that rhythm, Tank is going to wait for that rhythm to stop. He's going to wait for that beat to stop. Once that beat stops, he's going to throw a shot. And when he throws that shot, if Zepeda is still in range, he's going to get caught. Because every time he throws a combination, after he finished throwing that combination, he brings his guards down. He doesn't bring his guard back up. He brings it down. And his guard is like a little bit below his chin. And if he builds up a rhythm and Tank gets used to that rhythm, he's gonna wait for that beat to stop. Once that beat to stop, Tank gonna start scratching. He gonna remix the daggone whole album. It's gonna be a remix. So I mean, I would love to see it because it makes for a hell of a fight. Because like I said, we've never seen Tank Davis in there. But I think Tank Davis can be elite. He just hasn't been pushed to show that he's elite. He hasn't been put. Even Calvin Ford said it. Nobody has ever pushed his buttons to make him show what he can do. Nobody's ever done it. So I believe Zepeda is definitely the one to make him show what he can do. It's just a matter, do Zepeda want to get in there with him?
That's the key. But also, there are people saying, I was listening, I meant to bring this up to you a few days ago, and other people around a few years ago, that they keep on bringing up. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm just going by what people saying. They saying that Shakur could push Tank. I don't know why they say that.
He can do what?
He could push. He could push Tank. To really fight, but I don't see that.
Nah, I don't think Shakur can push Tank.
No.
Shakur, he doesn't throw enough combination. He's more of a pot shooter. He'll throw one shot here, one shot there. The only time you'll really see Shakur throw a combination is when he got his opponent hurt. That's the only time he really can throw a combination. He doesn't throw it on a regular basis. He'll throw one shot here, one shot there. He might throw a 1-2 here and there. But for the most part, he doesn't throw a combination. And I don't. He's not the fighter that's going to push Tank Davis. Now he can possibly beat Tank Davis because he's a defensive fighter. If he can use his size and his range to stay out of the way of Tank Davis and just catch Tank Davis as he comes in and stay away from Tank Davis, he can possibly beat him. But I don't think he's going to push Tank Davis far as somebody that's going to make Tank Davis have to work. I don't think he's gonna push him. I mean, it's gonna be similar to all the other Tank Davis fight. Tank Davis gonna try to figure a way to get in. Once he figure a way to get in, then he's gonna work the body and to bring that guard down and then go to the head. So, yeah. But I think Zepeda is probably the one guy at 35 right now that can push Tank Davis. He's probably the one guy that can push him because of his punch output. And the power that he has. He got power and he got a high punch output. So I think he might be the only one.
Got it. I tell you, this been a blast. I want to thank you, brother DeFree. And you will see him more on his channel. But like I said, he already possible. We're gonna do a chop up. Also, Chopper, you're gonna ask me questions about me too. You know, DeFree, he gonna ask me questions about him. So I about to get ready for that. But he gonna let me know, and then he gonna let his people know, and I'll let you know, and we're gonna do a chop up. But when I ever do another boxing show like this, you see him. But I'm gonna try to his podcast. I think the goal is I'm gonna try to get his podcast to come over here. And then Story B, man, you welcome. Let me know. You welcome to get on the panel too. It's time to bring back real boxing talk. So I'm bringing back real boxing, including myself. Myself, because I can still make 100. I'm up to 92, so I can get 100. I think I can get 140 years out. Now, like I said before, let me say before I ask brother DeFree to make his last remarks. I don't know that I'm gonna continue it after 100, or I'm gonna stop at 100. So I'm really thinking about we gonna keep it going after 100. There ain't gonna be no special and all that shit. We gonna keep this shit after 100. Maybe I'll probably do along the way. Maybe you have like certain special shows that you like, and we talk about. I do like that. Man, we gonna let this motherfucker pass 100. Yeah. I ain't did the boxing in a while. We gonna let it pass 100. That's the way it goes. But like the next time, hopefully, DeFree's next week we could do a chop up. Just let me know. I tell you what it's all about, and also we'll bring the podcast due next week. So we try to get this going. Last remarks, please, brother.
All right. I mean, I'm going live later on tonight. I believe I got an interview. We're going to be over on BBO Boxing. I believe we got an interview with I can't think of the guy's name right now, but we have an interview tonight. If it's still on, but if he doesn't show up, we will be talking boxing. We got some things that we got to talk about. We're probably going to talk about some of it in the interview if he does show up. But if he doesn't, we'll be talking boxing over there.
Send me the link.
Yeah, it's going to be at 8:00 tonight, Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, send me the link. All
right, I got you.
Okay. So that's your last remarks?
Yep.
Okay, stay right there. I want to thank y'all that want to participate in the chat. And then it's a great talk for Brother DeFree. It's going to be more to come. And I really appreciate this. This was spare the moment. Come and think about it. This was a spare of the moment thing, So I talked to Greasy. I think about it. Me said, "Y'all want to do some boxing? Let me know." So I said it was actually 1:30, 1 o'clock, 1:35. But it would take me time to set up. So this is the spare of the moment, and it came out great. You know, came out great. Thank you very much. I appreciate Brother DeFree. I'll reach out to you later on. On behalf of my channel, The Underrated Darkness, yours truly, the #1 grinder, one of the best kept secrets on social media. Believe that this is the last of the Underrated Boxing Talk, number 92. Please share this out. Please share this out. Subscribe to me. Put some comments, please. I want to know what you think about the show. What you think about it, please. Comments. We gotta get the algorithms up, you know, watch times up and everything. Y'all want some good stuff, you gotta support it. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon. This one is Ghost.